You might be aging yourself years faster without even realizing it. Every single day, millions of people wake up, go about their routine, and unknowingly accelerate the silent clock ticking inside their bodies. It's not just genetics or bad luck. It's not just about your birthday adding another candle to the cake. The truth is, there are habits, small, everyday choices, that quietly shave away your energy, damage your skin, weaken your cells, and make your body feel much older than it should. And here's the scariest part. Most of us are guilty of at least one of them. Aging isn't just wrinkles and gray hairs. It's the way your skin loses elasticity, your brain loses sharpness, and your energy fades long before it should. It's the stiffness in your joints, the fatigue that lingers no matter how much you sleep, the dullness in your skin tone, the random aches that feel like they belong to someone 15 years older. Science now shows that lifestyle, more than anything else, plays the biggest role in how fast we age. And what's shocking is that the very things we consider normal parts of daily life are often the worst offenders. Let's step back for a moment and think about the biology of aging. Inside your body, every cell has tiny protective caps on the ends of your DNA strands called telomeres. Imagine them like the plastic tips on your shoelaces. As long as they are intact, your DNA remains safe, and your cells keep dividing and functioning like they are supposed to. But every time your cells divide, those telomeres shorten just a little bit. When they get too short, the cell can no longer replicate properly. This is one of the fundamental processes of aging. The kicker: certain daily habits can dramatically speed up this shortening process, making your cells age faster, leading to visible signs like wrinkles, but also invisible signs like memory decline and weakened immunity. This is why researchers now talk about biological age versus chronological age. Chronological age is simply how many birthdays you've celebrated. Biological age, on the other hand, is how old your body really is on the inside, how well your organs, skin, and cells are holding up. And the gap between the two can be shocking. A 40-year-old who maintains healthy daily habits may have the biological age of someone in their early 30s. Meanwhile, another 40-year-old who falls into destructive daily habits might have the biological age of someone pushing 55. So, what are these silent culprits? What are the normal things you might be doing that quietly pile years onto your body? We're going to break down 3 daily habits that age you faster. But before we get into them one by one, let's paint the big picture. These habits all share a common theme. They stress your body. Not just mentally, though mental stress plays a role, but physically at the cellular level. They create oxidative stress, a damaging process where unstable molecules called free radicals attack your cells like little sparks burning holes in your body's blueprint. They promote chronic inflammation, which scientists now call the root of nearly every disease, from arthritis to Alzheimer's. They disrupt your body's repair systems, meaning you break down faster than you rebuild. The result: even if you don't notice it right away, these habits are leaving their fingerprints on your future health, shaving months, even years, off your lifespan. Let's also be clear, you don't need to live a perfect life. The occasional late night, sugary dessert, or skipped workout won't doom you. Your body is resilient. But the daily repetition of harmful habits, the things you normalize, are what push the fast-forward button on aging. So here's what we'll cover in this series. Habit number 1. The silent stressor most people think is harmless but drains your skin, energy, and brain power every single day. Habit number 2. The lifestyle pattern that seems convenient in the short term but quietly inflames your body and accelerates every marker of aging. Habit number 3. The overlooked behavior that most people underestimate, yet it's one of the strongest predictors of how old you'll look and feel in the next 10 years. Each of these will get its own deep dive. We'll unpack how it works, what science. Every time you cut corners on sleep, you're not just making yourself tired, you're literally speeding up your aging process. Sleep is one of the most underrated health pillars in the modern world. For years, it's been glamorized to hustle harder, brag about running on 4 hours of sleep, and treat rest like a luxury instead of a necessity. But here's the truth. Sleep isn't a luxury, it's your body's most powerful anti-aging tool. And when you don't get enough of it, the cost shows up everywhere. On your skin, in your energy levels, in your memory, and deep inside your cells. Let's break it down. The science of sleep and aging. When you close your eyes and drift off, your body enters repair mode. Hormones are balanced, muscles are rebuilt, tissues are repaired, and your brain literally cleans itself of toxic waste proteins that build up during the day. One of these proteins, beta amyloid, is directly linked to Alzheimer's disease. That means consistent, high-quality sleep isn't just about looking fresh in the morning. It's about protecting your brain decades from now. But what happens when you skip sleep or cut it short? You trigger a cascade of damage. Collagen breakdown. Collagen is the protein that keeps your skin plump and youthful. Studies show that sleep deprivation increases cortisol, the stress hormone that breaks down collagen. The result? Fine lines and sagging skin appear faster. Inflammation surge. A single night of poor sleep can spike inflammatory markers in your blood. Chronic inflammation, in turn, is like rust spreading through your body, damaging blood vessels, joints, and even your DNA. Telomere shortening. Remember telomeres, the protective caps on your DNA. Research shows that people who consistently sleep less than 6 hours a night have significantly shorter telomeres than those who sleep well. Shorter telomeres equals faster cellular aging. Weakened immunity. Sleep-deprived bodies produce fewer infection-fighting white blood cells. That's why people who don't sleep enough tend to catch colds more often, and even vaccines are less effective in sleep-deprived individuals. How sleep loss shows on your face. You don't need a microscope to see the damage of sleep neglect. Dermatologists can often spot poor sleep in seconds. Puffy eyes, dark circles, pale skin, and dullness are the obvious signs. But underneath, your skin barrier, the outer layer that keeps moisture in and toxins out, becomes compromised. That means skin dehydrates faster and becomes more sensitive to pollution, sunlight, and chemicals. The result? Wrinkles set in earlier, and your skin loses that healthy glow. In fact, a study by the University Hospital's Case Medical Center found that poor sleepers showed increased signs of skin aging and slower recovery from environmental stresses like UV rays. The brain fog factor. Beyond your appearance, sleep deprivation rapidly ages your brain. Think about the mornings after a bad night's sleep. Words don't come as easily, your focus wavers, and your memory feels unreliable. Multiply that over months or years, and you're creating long-term cognitive decline. Studies consistently show that poor sleep quality in midlife is one of the strongest predictors of dementia later on. In simple terms, how you sleep in your 30s, 40s, and 50s directly impacts how sharp your mind will be in your 70s. The metabolic trap. Here's something most people don't realize. Sleep deprivation directly impacts your metabolism, making you biologically older. When you don't get enough rest, your hunger hormones get scrambled. Ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, shoots up. Leptin, the hormone that makes you feel full, drops. That's why late-night snacks feel irresistible when you're sleep-deprived. On top of that, insulin sensitivity plummets. In plain English, your body processes sugar less efficiently, making you more prone to weight gain, diabetes, and energy crashes. Excess body fat, especially around the belly, accelerates inflammation, another fuel source for aging. The silent stress loop. Perhaps the most insidious effect of sleep neglect is the stress loop it creates. Poor sleep raises cortisol levels, and high cortisol makes it harder to fall asleep the next night. The cycle feeds itself, leaving you in a constant state of stress and fatigue. Chronic cortisol exposure not only weakens your immune system but also shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. It's no wonder sleep-deprived individuals often feel like they are aging overnight. Breaking free, protecting your biological clock. The good news: unlike some aging factors, sleep is something you can control. When you restore healthy sleep, you literally reverse damage at the cellular level. Here's how to do it. Prioritize 7 to 9 hours. It's not negotiable. Adults who consistently sleep between 7 and 9 hours have longer telomeres, healthier skin, and sharper minds. Set a regular schedule. your body thrives on rhythm. Going to bed and waking up at the same time daily keeps your circadian clock aligned, which improves hormone balance. Create a sleep sanctuary. Darkness is key. Even tiny amounts of light disrupt melatonin production. Blackout curtains, eye masks, and turning off screens can transform your sleep quality. Ditch the blue light before bed. Phones and laptops emit blue light that tricks your brain into thinking it's daytime. Shut them off at least an hour before bed, or use blue light filters if unavoidable. Watch caffeine and alcohol. Caffeine lingers in your system for up to 8 hours, and alcohol may make you drowsy but disrupts deep sleep cycles. Limit both if you want restorative rest. Wind down with rituals. Reading, stretching, or light meditation signals your body that it's time to rest. Over time, these cues make falling asleep effortless. Why this habit matters more than you think. Let's return to the bigger picture. Neglecting sleep is one of the fastest ways to age prematurely because it strikes at every level of your health. Skin, brain, metabolism, immunity, all of them depend on high-quality rest to repair and thrive. When you stay up late scrolling, binge-watching, or working into the night, it might feel harmless. But beneath the surface, you're robbing your cells of their chance to heal. You're draining your body's natural anti-aging defenses and accelerating decline in ways you won't fully notice until it's too late. Every bite of processed junk you treat as just a snack could be silently shaving years off your life. Modern convenience foods are everywhere, from the brightly packaged chips in the grocery store to the fast food drive-thru you hit when you're in a rush. They are cheap, easy, and addictive. But here's the ugly truth. Processed foods are one of the fastest accelerators of premature aging. And the more you rely on them, the more you're fueling the fire of inflammation and cell damage inside your body. What exactly are processed foods? Not all processed foods are bad. Technically, even frozen vegetables are processed. The real culprits are ultra-processed foods, items that are packed with refined sugars, unhealthy fats, artificial additives, and sodium. Think sugary sodas, packaged pastries, instant noodles, fast food burgers, candy bars, and those energy drinks that promise a boost but deliver a crash. These foods are designed to hijack your brain's reward system. The perfect mix of sugar, fat, and salt triggers dopamine, the same brain chemical linked to addictive behaviors. That's why you can't stop at just one cookie or one handful of chips. But the satisfaction is short-lived, and the long-term damage is devastating. How processed foods speed up aging. Sugar and glycation. When you eat high amounts of sugar, it doesn't just raise your blood glucose. Excess sugar molecules bind to proteins and fats in your body through a process called glycation. This forms advanced glycation end products, AGEs. Ironically, the acronym spells out exactly what they do. They make you age faster. AGEs damage collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep your skin smooth and firm. The result? Wrinkles, sagging, and dullness long before their time. Chronic inflammation. Ultra-processed foods are loaded with refined oils high in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, omega-6 is fine, but when it dominates your diet, it throws your fatty acid balance out of whack. The result is a constant low-level inflammation in your body. This kind of inflammation isn't visible like a swollen ankle. It's hidden, silent, and systemic. Over time, it corrodes your blood vessels, damages organs, and accelerates everything from arthritis to heart disease. Oxidative stress. Processed foods are often stripped of natural antioxidants found in whole fruits, vegetables, and grains. That means when free radicals attack your cells, there's nothing to neutralize them. The imbalance creates oxidative stress, which literally damages DNA and shortens telomeres. Remember, shorter telomeres equals faster biological aging. Gut microbiome damage. Your gut is home to trillions of bacteria that influence everything from digestion to mood. Ultra-processed foods starve the good bacteria while feeding harmful strains. An unhealthy gut microbiome is linked to obesity, depression, weakened immunity, and accelerated aging. Insulin resistance. Constant spikes of sugar and refined carbs force your pancreas to pump out more and more insulin. Over time, your cells stop responding properly, a condition known as insulin resistance. This is a stepping stone to type 2 diabetes, but even before diabetes sets in, insulin resistance accelerates aging by fueling inflammation and damaging blood vessels. The visible signs of a processed diet. If you rely heavily on processed foods, the signs show up faster than you think. Skin that loses its glow, energy that crashes mid-afternoon, constant bloating, brain fog that makes it hard to focus. These are all early warnings. Dermatologists often point out that high-sugar diets make skin appear duller and more prone to acne. Cardiologists warn that processed food-heavy diets are linked to stiffer arteries, making your cardiovascular system older than your actual years. The long-term price. A diet rich in processed foods doesn't just add pounds to your waistline. It rewires your body toward premature decline. Large studies have shown that people who consume the most ultra-processed foods have a significantly higher risk of early death compared to those who eat minimally processed diets. In other words, those bags of chips and sugary sodas aren't just empty calories, they are subtracting time from your lifespan. Why it's so hard to quit. Here's the cruel twist. Processed foods are engineered to keep you hooked. Food scientists carefully craft the bliss point, the exact ratio of sugar, fat, and salt that maximizes pleasure without making you feel full too quickly. Add in artificial flavor enhancers and you've got a formula designed not for nourishment, but for profit. That's why the more you eat, the harder it is to stop. Breaking free, how to escape the processed food trap. The good news. You don't need to be perfect. You don't have to give up every indulgence. The key is minimizing daily reliance on processed junk and replacing it with nutrient-rich whole foods. Here's how. Crowd out, don't just cut out. Instead of focusing on what you can't eat, focus on adding whole foods. Fresh fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and lean proteins naturally reduce cravings for junk. Upgrade your snacks. Swap chips for roasted chickpeas or nuts. Replace candy bars with dark chocolate or fruit. These swaps give you satisfaction without the inflammatory hit. Hydrate smart. Sugary sodas are one of the biggest culprits of accelerated aging. Replacing them with water, sparkling water, or unsweetened tea makes a huge difference. Cook more at home. Home-cooked meals let you control ingredients. Even simple dishes like roasted vegetables and grilled chicken beat takeout nutritionally. Read labels. If the ingredient list is longer than a paragraph and full of words you can't pronounce, it's not food, it's a chemistry experiment. Practice the 80-20th rule. Aim to eat whole, nutrient-rich foods 80% of the time. That way, the occasional treat doesn't derail your health. Why this habit matters so much. Processed foods speed up aging because they strike from every angle. They damage skin. Stress doesn't just weigh on your mind. It etches lines into your face, weakens your heart, and accelerates aging in every cell of your body. We often think of stress as an emotional issue. Work deadlines, money problems, relationship struggles, all things that keep us up at night, leave us feeling drained, or make us irritable. But stress isn't just in your head. Chronic stress is one of the most toxic daily habits for your body. It has measurable, biological effects that make you age faster. How stress ages you from the inside out. When you're stressed, your body releases cortisol and adrenaline, the fight-or-flight hormones designed to protect you in emergencies. In small bursts, these hormones are helpful. They sharpen your focus and give you quick energy. But when stress becomes a daily state, these chemicals stop helping and start harming. Telomere shortening. Studies show that people under chronic stress have significantly shorter telomeres, those protective caps on your DNA. It's no coincidence that stressed individuals often look older than their peers. Collagen breakdown. High cortisol levels break down collagen and elastin, the proteins that keep skin firm and elastic. This leads to fine lines, wrinkles, and sagging. That tired look on stressed faces isn't just imagination, it's biology. Inflammation storm. Stress signals your immune system to stay on high alert. This leads to chronic inflammation, which silently damages blood vessels, increases risk of heart disease, and accelerates joint aging. Weakened immunity. Chronic stress weakens your body's defenses, making you more vulnerable to infections and slowing down recovery. That's why people under stress often get sick more often. Brain aging. Long-term cortisol exposure literally shrinks the hippocampus, the part of your brain responsible for memory and learning. Over time, this increases the risk of cognitive decline and dementia. The hidden ways stress shows up. You may think you're handling stress fine because you're not having panic attacks. But stress often hides behind everyday symptoms. Fatigue that doesn't go away. Digestive issues like bloating or stomach aches. Tension headaches or migraines. Sleep problems, struggling to fall or stay asleep. Emotional eating or sugar cravings. Irritability, anxiety, or brain fog. Each of these is your body's way of saying, the load is too heavy. Negativity, the silent twin of stress. Stress rarely comes alone. It often brings negativity, the thought patterns that trap you in cycles of worry, anger, or pessimism. While stress triggers physical changes, negativity cements them. Studies show that people with negative outlooks, chronic complainers, worriers, or cynics, have higher levels of inflammation and shorter lifespans compared to optimists. Positivity isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about training your brain to see possibilities instead of only threats. Just as processed foods feed disease, negative thought patterns feed stress, magnifying the damage. Why stress ages your face so quickly? You've probably noticed it. Someone going through a tough time looks older almost overnight. Divorce, grief, financial strain, all of these life events leave visible marks. That's because stress constricts blood vessels, reducing oxygen and nutrient delivery to your skin. Without steady nourishment, skin becomes dull, dry, and prone to wrinkles. Add in frowning, jaw clenching, and lack of sleep, and it's no wonder stress etches itself onto your face. Breaking free, stress management as an anti-aging tool. The good news, just like sleep and diet, stress is something you can learn to manage. You can't eliminate all stress, but you can control how your body responds. Here's how. Breathing techniques. Simple deep breathing exercises activate the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest mode that calms your body. Even 5 minutes a day lowers cortisol. Movement. Exercise is one of the most effective stress relievers. It burns off excess cortisol, releases endorphins, and improves mood. It doesn't have to be extreme. Walking, yoga, or dancing all work. Mindfulness and meditation. Regular mindfulness practice rewires your brain to respond calmly instead of reacting with panic. Studies show meditators have longer telomeres than non-meditators, proof that stress management protects your cells. Connection. Social support is one of the best buffers against stress. Sharing your struggles, laughing with friends, or spending time with loved ones reduces feelings of isolation and lowers cortisol levels. Sleep and nutrition. Remember habits number 1 and number 2. They play directly into stress. Poor sleep and processed foods make you more vulnerable to stress and less resilient in handling it. Everything is connected. Reframing negativity. Try shifting perspective. Instead of "why is this happening to me?" ask "what can I learn from this?" Optimism isn't naive. It's a protective factor against premature aging. The longevity connection. There's a reason scientists studying the world's longest living populations, the so-called blue zones, found strong social bonds, active lifestyles, and daily stress relief rituals like prayer, meditation, or naps. These aren't luxuries. They are survival strategies. Chronic stress shortens life. Stress management extends it. Why this habit is often ignored. People know lack of sleep is bad. They know processed food is unhealthy. But stress, many wear it like a badge of honor. I'm so busy, I'm grinding, I thrive under pressure. The truth is, nobody thrives under chronic stress. It quietly drains. You don't have to keep living on fast forward. The same habits that age you faster can be broken, and your body can heal. The clock isn't set in stone. You have more control over your biological age than you think. We've uncovered the 3 daily habits that quietly speed up the aging process: neglecting sleep, overloading on processed foods, and living under constant stress and negativity. Each one on its own can drain your energy, damage your skin, and weaken your cells. Together, they create the perfect storm, a life that feels heavier, older, and less vibrant than it should. But here's the truth: biology is not destiny. Aging is not simply the number of candles on your cake. It's the accumulation of your choices, day by day. And just as the wrong choices make you older, the right ones can help you rebuild, repair, and reverse. Why reversal is possible? Think of your body as a city. Years of poor sleep, processed food, and stress are like potholes in the roads, cracks in the buildings, and broken streetlights. But a city doesn't collapse overnight. And with the right repairs, it can be restored to beauty and function. Sleep. When you restore rest, your body begins producing more growth hormone, the hormone responsible for repair and regeneration. Within weeks, your skin improves, your focus sharpens, and your energy levels rise. Nutrition. Shifting away from ultra-processed foods floods your cells with antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals. These act like repair crews, patching damage, neutralizing free radicals, and supporting collagen. Stress relief. When you manage stress, cortisol levels drop, inflammation cools, and your body finally gets a chance to heal. Your immune system strengthens, your mood lifts, and your brain functions more clearly. These changes don't just make you feel younger, they literally reset markers of biological age. Research has shown that lifestyle interventions can lengthen telomeres, reduce inflammation, and improve mitochondrial function. In plain English, you can slow down the clock. The synergy effect. One of the most powerful lessons from these three habits is how interconnected they are. Poor sleep makes you crave processed foods. Processed foods fuel inflammation, which makes stress harder to manage. Stress disrupts sleep, which makes everything worse. It's a vicious cycle. But here's the good news: the opposite is also true. Improve one area, and the others often follow. When you sleep better, you crave healthier foods. When you eat whole, nutrient-rich meals, you feel calmer and less stressed. When stress is managed, you sleep more deeply. This creates a positive cycle, a self-reinforcing loop of health and vitality. Building your anti-aging blueprint. Let's bring it all together into a practical action plan. Protect your sleep like a treasure. Aim for 7 to 9 hours every night. Keep a consistent bedtime and wake time. Create a relaxing pre-bed ritual. Dim lights, read, stretch, or practice gratitude. Reclaim your plate. Choose whole foods, fresh fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, lean proteins, and whole grains. Hydrate with water, herbal teas, or sparkling water instead of soda. Limit sugar, refined carbs, and processed snacks to occasional treats, not daily staples. Diffuse stress before it ages you. Practice deep breathing, meditation, or prayer daily. Move your body in ways you enjoy: walking, yoga, dancing, cycling. Connect with people who lift you up. Relationships buffer stress more powerfully than any supplement. Reframe challenges. Instead of "why me?" ask "what can this teach me?" Anchor with small wins. You don't need to overhaul everything at once. Start small. Go to bed 30 minutes earlier. Swap one processed snack for a piece of fruit. Take 10 deep breaths before work. Small wins compound into big changes. The deeper reward, not just more years, but better years. Longevity isn't about adding decades of decline. It's about adding quality years, years where you feel strong, focused, and alive. Imagine being 60 and still feeling the energy of 40. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing skin that reflects vitality, not exhaustion. Imagine living without constant aches, brain fog, or fatigue. That's the promise of respecting your body's needs. Aging gracefully doesn't mean giving up. It means fighting for your health with smart, consistent choices. It means building resilience so you're not just surviving, but thriving. The mental shift that changes everything. The final piece of this puzzle is mindset. Many people think, "I'll deal with it later." But later is built on the choices you make today. Your skin in 10 years is being shaped right now. Your brain health at 70 is being shaped by how you sleep, eat, and handle stress today. Instead of thinking of health as punishment,